this time. Hello everyone, my name is Michael Moses, and today I'll be explaining the relationship between social media and narcissism. Have you ever checked your social media over and over again to see how many likes, comments, reposts, or just engagements in general that it's gotten? Have you ever looked at your friend's social media account to compare their following to your own? This is a lot more common than you guys would think, and I think it's leading to problems that we're seeing in society today. I think that almost everyone uses social media, but they don't understand the psychology behind it. People only want to mention the good parts of social media, but they completely neglect the bad parts. And I think that that's something super important that we should focus on. And I think that just the constant entertainment that you're getting from social media is just overstimulating. And I think that the lack of boredom that social media is providing to you is extremely detrimental to people's mental health. I've always been fascinated with psychology ever since I was a little kid. And a few years back, I watched a show called The Social Dilemma, and it completely shifted my perspective and outlook on social media forever. Effectively, what this show was about was all these Silicon Valley social media people from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all these social media people effectively explaining the inner workings behind the app. These were people that designed these features that they fully admit they're meant to addict you. And we're gathering the smartest people from the world, and we're effectively giving them the goal to addict people. And I think that that's an extremely unethical thing. Social media is built around attention-seeking behavior, and that can therefore lead to narcissistic traits even when offline. First, I'll explain how social media rewards and leads to attention-seeking behavior. And second, I'll explain how that attention-seeking behavior will lead to narcissistic traits when on social media and when off social media. In order to understand the relationship between narcissism and social media, first you need to understand the effects of the app and how they just affect people in general. And then also I would say you have to understand the interests and goals of the app and what they're trying to get you to do. According to Stefano Casal, published Psychology of Social Media 2020, people with narcissistic traits are much more likely to want to post on social media and post selfies and receive this self-validation from social media. I think that this is extremely unhealthy, as I've explained before, and something that should change. Theo Nigel claims that social media users feel they're held to a much higher standard when on social media, and that this leads to a much lower validation and just happiness in general. I think that this is leading to people being depressed, which is something that obviously no one wants in society. I think that everyone wants people to be happy, and if something is directly causing just lower satisfaction for people in their general lives, I think that's something that's extremely important and should be talked about. People consistently use social media have lower satisfaction away from social media, which is another thing that's extremely important. I think that if something's affecting you while on the app, that's one thing. But when the app is affecting everything outside of that app and outside of the time you're spending on that, I think that that's a huge issue. The last thing I would ask you guys is, when you're on social media, what is your purpose on it? Is it to connect with your friends and to meet new people, or is your goal to effectively try to impress them? I think that these are two vastly different things, vastly different goals, and I think that these would have two massive different effects. I think that if you're trying to just connect with people, which would be more of something like Snapchat, I think that that could be relatively healthy. But when people are using social media as a means to try to impress people, I think that this is where we start going down the slippery slope and where you start seeing these bad effects. I hope that we can fix these issues, and thank you.